Hello, I want to welcome each and every of you to the maiden edition of Team's Reality TV show. I am your host, Pastor Udo. Our vision is to create a new brand of teenagers who can get to understand who they are, who they were created to be by God, and helping them navigate this life easily by His help. It is so important. Hello. I want to welcome you to another wonderful, exciting, brand new episode of Teens Reality. I am your lovely host, Pastor Udo, and this morning we are going to be talking about something exciting. We continue from where we stopped off on the subtopic resilience under preparing your teen for life's challenges. To every parent and teenager so far who has tuned in and stayed connected, we appreciate you. I want to let you know that a difference is being made in the lives of every one of you who are connected. Now, we took our time to discuss how to build resilience, and we mentioned 2 points already. We mentioned, first of all, fostering strong relationships. Then we moved on to developing coping skills. Alright, so we talked about learning and using active coping skills or coping strategies that can prevent individuals from getting stuck in negative feelings. And I made mention of the fact that yes, instead of dwelling on that negative experience or the negative feelings that have arisen due to that painful experience, it is a time to explore and learn something new. Push yourself. Something perhaps you've always imagined or you've told yourself that maybe one day I will learn it. Now is the time to actually put it into practice and go to learning. With the access to the internet given, please do remember that as teenagers, parental supervision still comes in that parental control to what you have access to Google, browse, or look up online to ensure that you're not stumbling onto dangerous content that might be harmful for you or your well-being. So you have access to learn a variety of skills. Almost anything can be learned online. So you learn along perhaps with your parents. And in that way, you realize that instead of coming out of that situation or that negative experience feeling bad, you've come out stronger and more equipped. Next, maintain healthy habits. Engaging in regular exercise, getting enough sleep, and following a healthy diet are important for building resilience. It's just like when you eat healthily, you are building up muscles, you're building up energy, you're storing up for a rainy day. A day comes when you're unable to have access to some of those things that you normally had, like a healthy diet or regular exercise, and the fact that your body has stored up this before then comes in and it helps. It really helps. So now, something else you can do is like when you exercise and you eat healthily, you're letting your body know that no matter what it is, my body still needs all this and I'm going to keep doing it. So you maintain those healthy habits. Don't allow them to break down. Don't allow them to downgrade. You understand? Keep doing it. One thing to ensure that when those challenges come at you, that if you can still maintain a kind of routine that things are not necessarily going to change. Everything's not going to change because this has happened to me. I'll still be who I am. Or in fact, I'll become better. But I'm not going to regress. I'm not going to lose the ground I've already gained. And one way to do that is ensuring that at least those healthy habits stay on par. Don't neglect yourself. Don't shut yourself out aside to another aspect, to another part where you are not giving any focus or any attention. You don't want to harm your body, you don't want to harm your health. And this is very, very vital, very, very important. Next, find purpose. Participating in activities that build confidence, nurture talent, and allow for success can help develop a sense of competence. Yes, as I've said, in that moment when you feel like you are to lose ends, you don't know what next to do, It's a time to nurture talents. As I said, find purpose. And as was also told you, that the Lord has a purpose for each and every one of you as teenagers. It might be time for you to begin to spend quality time with the Holy Spirit. Yes. Beyond just building talents or beginning to develop skills that might have been hidden within you, it's a time to begin asking yourself, what am I really here on earth for? What plan does God have for me? What plan does God have for my life? It's a question you can ask yourself, ask your parents, ask your pastor, ask your leader in church. Ask the Lord, what would you have me know? What would you have me learn? Because I want you to realize, and if you can get this early on in life, that you're not here by mistake. You're not just trying to live out 70 or 80 years of life and then die. No. You are worth much more than that. And if God can bring you into the picture of what He has planned out for your life and help you begin to walk in that path, you realize that there is so much in store for you. So much to be reaped, so much benefited from, so much impact to give to your world. So that at that stage of your life, this stage of your life as your teenager, where you still have the ability to learn a lot of things, you understand, at the same time, that yes, you can give your best to doing it with the help of the Holy Spirit. So with these few things, these are ways in which you can build resilience in yourself as a teenager, or for you who as a parent watching this is a way you can encourage your teenager to build resilience. Remember, the goal is to say that they are prepared to deal with life's challenges that comes their way. Now, I made mention of the fact that, yes, in our earlier episode, that failure is not the enemy. Many times we see failure as something to be afraid of, so that in fact it begins to build a kind of mental block in your teenager that if I fail, I'm a failure for life. If I fail in studies, everyone is going to reject me. Nobody's going to want to be friends with me. My parents will not love me. They will not accept me. No. I've told you, failure sometimes is necessary. A necessary building block, a necessary tool in creating your teenager into that person who is able to deal with challenges, that will develop that grit, that fighting spirit. So now the question arises, when failure ultimately occurs or happens to your teenager, how do they deal with it? They fail in class, they fail at sports, they fail perhaps in their friendships or in their relationships. Some relationships or friendships end prematurely, or they feel like abandoned. What happens? How do they deal with that failure as teenagers? I want us to look closely at these certain aspects. It says to deal with failure as a teenager, number one, acknowledge your feelings, practice self-compassion, and reframe the failure as a learning opportunity rather than as a final judgment. It is also important to talk about it with a trusted person. Focus on your strengths, make a new plan, and try again. Yes, I like when he said that instead of looking at it as, you understand, a final judgment of your abilities, reframe it as a learning opportunity. You failed. What can you learn from that failure? Perhaps you attended a competition where you are expected to come out tops and perhaps you did not even place in any position. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this? Remind yourself, in the process of preparing for that competition, what new knowledge did I acquire? Down the line, going further into the years as they go by, how is that knowledge going to help me? Instead of feeling like as if no, because I didn't get any trophy or prize, I'm a failure, be appreciative of the fact that you had an experience to learn something new. Number two, you can also look at it from this perspective that while you were focused on that particular aspect of your project, you then had opportunity to look at other projects that were presented by other teenagers. In fact, tell yourself, oh, which of those other projects got me interested? I would like to go study that for myself and see if I can do something similar to this or try my hand at this. And you'll be like, whoa, I never even thought of this. That can a teenager really do this? They did this because you begin to realize that, okay, yes, that when you compare those other projects that perhaps stood out better than yours to your own project, you realize that, yes, the judges knew what they were talking about. So it's not something to feel bad about. If you were a judge, you perhaps tell yourself that, oh, I would also have chosen theirs over mine. So instead of feeling bad for yourself, tell yourself, okay, let me learn what they did. Let me expand. Let me tell myself, okay, that my eyes have been opened to see that, yes, I should not just go in only this direction. I can also branch out. Is it something that was like, okay, just focused only on science? Perhaps to their competition, a new world in art or geography or technology is opened up to them. So take it as a learning opportunity. And let it not just be a final judgment on your skills or your ability or your person. So take out time to also talk to someone that you trust and discuss with this how I was feeling. And the person has helped you like get back on track and refocus you on the fact that, okay, yes, this has happened. But what next do you plan to do? How are you going to refocus? What do you want to try your hand at doing again? Because it is important to quickly get your child from that feeling of that first failure or second failure to retrying something new. Or perhaps keeping at that thing they failed at. But now they are trying it, going at it in a new way, employing new strategies. So that they are able to identify the errors and the mistakes that were made before and then do better this time around. Now, there are different ways to acknowledge and process emotions. Number one, give yourself permission to feel. It is okay to feel angry, sad, or disappointed. Yes, if you feel it's okay to feel angry. That first feeling of, oh, it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. Give yourself that permission to feel. Suppressing these emotions can make things worse. Don't just bottle them up and tell yourself, okay, I'm being told I should be resilient. I'm being trained to deal with failure. So there's no need, nobody should know that I was feeling bad. No. People should know that, yes, you felt disappointed. You did win. It's normal to feel disappointed and sad and perhaps even angry. You'll be angry at the hours you spent on that project and now you feel there is no return or the return you wanted. Eventually, when you now sit back after allowing those emotions to have free rein, I'm not saying you should become like violent or act out or act rudely to your parents or friends or the organizers of the event. No. And then after you've taken out time to express those emotions, you can now sit back and realize that yes, everything was not totally wasted effort. You have actually gained something in the process. You tried something. You failed. You didn't die. That you can only get better. It can only get better from this point. You can't do much worse than this. So embrace those emotions first of all. Don't suppress it. Don't bottle them up and tell yourself, oh, nobody wants to hear how sad or how angry or disappointed I'm feeling. For at least those first few minutes or just that day or a few days, express it then move on. Express it then move on. Number two, take a break. Sometimes it requires you to take a break. Step away from the situation for a bit to clear your head and get some perspective. Remember, while preparing for that project or assignment or recital, whatever it is you did, that game that you now feel that a lot of your energy and your resources were focused on preparing for it. Now that the competition has come and gone and you feel you did not come out in the position you wanted to come out in, it might be time for you to just step away from it for a bit. You're not calling you to leave it forever. Just like someone who is an athlete and perhaps you're planning to run a 400-meter race and you had practiced and you Time came for the race, you ran it and perhaps you placed sixth, and you're thinking that, oh, if you could even place in the top 3 or the top 4, you'd feel better, you'd feel good and feel like at least all you practice was worth it. Now, at that moment, I know that athletes is generally encouraged that they keep up their routine of exercise and training so that the body keeps remembering, the body knows what it is being trained to do. But there's sometimes you can take a break. You can keep doing the minimal exercises and the training routine, but not as intensive as it used to be. In fact, sometimes it's even your coach or your parents that will encourage you, let's step away for a bit, get a new perspective, and now observe. One thing even tell you is like, look through what happened. You understand, realize that, oh, from the perspective of those who won, feel happy for them. Feel happy for them that they also trained. That it might be that some of those who have now eventually done good in this race where you failed previously, and now have an opportunity to win. So they tell you, oh, now they're winning. By the time you come back next year, next season, next time, you're gonna win. And that the way they are feeling right now, you're gonna be feeling that way. So you're giving them a new perspective, a new angle to see. So getting a new insight, a new perspective on it can give you an idea on how to deal with failure as a team. Right now, I want us to go for a quick break, and when we return, we will continue. Please feel free to reach out to us on WhatsApp, Telegram, and TikTok using the handle +234 813 929 2708, or send an email to teensreality@lifechangerstorch.org. Do stay tuned. We'll be back shortly. Hello, I want to welcome each and every one of you to the maiden edition of Teens Reality TV show. I am your host, Pastor Udo. Our vision is to create a new brand of teenagers who can get to understand who they are, who they were created to be by God, and helping them navigate this life easily by His help. It is so important. Welcome back. So now we move on to the next point of how to deal with failure. We're talking about acknowledging your feelings and processing those emotions. Next, talk about it. Share your feelings with a trusted friend, parent, or teacher. Saying it out loud can make a big difference. There are sometimes you just need to say how you're feeling. Sometimes, I don't know, there's sometimes you just say how you're feeling, and the moment you're saying it out, it feels like all of that pressure just rolls away. It happens for some people in some situations, not necessarily all of the situations. So something you can try out. So say it out loud to your parent. Okay, I felt like I really worked for this. I felt like I should have gotten this kind of score, but I don't know why it did not go out this way, and this is how I am feeling. So share it. Talk about it with someone you trust, someone who can relate. Perhaps someone who was part of your preparation process for that particular assignment, competition, or program you just went for. So they are looking at it and they're dealing with you from a place of understanding and a place of care and love. So you're sharing with them, you know that they love you, you know that they understand you, they care about you, they're compassionate and stuff, and it helps you feel much more better. So these 3 points are under acknowledging and processing your emotions, giving yourself the permission to feel, taking a break, and then talking about it. Now, another way to deal with it is about developing a healthy mindset. What do we mean by developing a healthy mindset? Number 1, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Be kind to yourself. There's some people who keep on. It is good to remember or realize where it is that mistakes were made and made you fail in the first place. But there is no need to beat up yourself over the matter. It is like you keep beating up yourself over and over and over. No, be kind to yourself. You tried, and ask yourself, did I really work for it? Yes, if you did work for it, then be kind to yourself. I worked for it, not like as if I slacked off or I didn't bring my best to the table. And imagine if it was your friend in that same situation, what kind of advice, what kind of words would you extend to them? How would you help them take a break and renew their mindset, their way of thinking, to ensure that they are not afraid to try once more, to get back on that field to run again, get back in that game to compete once more? So be kind to yourself. Don't beat up yourself. You're not the first person who has failed. You will not be the last. And in fact, that is not necessarily going to be your last failure. Remember, the idea is to deal with failure as a teenager. It will happen once and again and again and again. The idea is that you know what to do when that failure happens to ensure that you keep progressing and moving forward. Now, reframe the failure. As we said that already, view the experience as a chance to learn and grow, not as a reflection of your worth or abilities. You are still a teenager. What you know now is not what defines your entire future. Please know this. You're 13, you're 14, you're 15. That is not your entire future defined by that failure. And you fail, that doesn't mean you're going to fail forever. That you did not come out the best or in the top 10 does not mean you're never going to come out in that top number. That failure is not a representation of your entire worth as a person or your abilities. Remember, you can learn more skills. You can increase your capacity, your capability. You can stretch, you can improve, you can grow. There are friends, there are loved ones, there are parents around you to encourage you, to help you. There are more materials to gaze upon, to study, to reflect upon. So treat it as a learning experience. Reframe that failure. This is just part of my growth journey. In fact, you can take a note of it. For those of you perhaps who keep like a diary or kind of chronicle of your life, you understand the stages. You are marking different phases and seasons of your life. Just reframe it. This has happened. We are moving forward. Next, focus on your strengths. Remind yourself of your abilities by focusing on your strengths and your past successes. Sometimes it might be you dabbled in something new that you now failed at. It should not make you afraid to keep on dabbling in other new things. In fact, to tell yourself, okay, even if this didn't work out, remember, I have certain strengths, I have things that I'm also good at. Since I'm good at this, I'll keep on exploring other things I might be good at also. You understand? Remind yourself of your strengths or your past successes. I've won before. I've made a lot of significant progress before. That this failed now does not mean it's going to like fail forever. So, focus on your strengths. Next, adopt a growth mindset. A growth mindset. Believe that your abilities can be improved through effort and perseverance. You want to grow, you want to improve. Your mind has the ability to learn, accumulate a lot of information, and do a lot of things. Don't limit yourself to that failure and say, okay, I'm never going to try something new or go in that line again. There are some people, the manner in which you feel it might be so obvious that, okay, that field or that particular career is not for you, but be willing to try something new. For someone else, the failure might not be so bad that, okay, you can still try at that particular field again and give it a shot. But whatever it is, adopt a growth mindset. I can learn from this. I can do better. This is my level of knowledge at this point now. What more do I need to know to improve? What can I do to be better? You understand? What can I do to be better? Like, take for example, I remember watching a particular movie where a young lady was learning to skate. Now, she had learned on her own home field, like on standard training ice rinks. So she didn't have a lot of skills on how to navigate curves and bends. So even though she had speed, starting out, she had that speed, she had developed strength and stuff. By the time she came to this new training program, she realized that there was a lot of things to learn. She would have decided that, okay, I just want to focus on the fact that I'm so fast. She would have been fast, but she will never win because others have added technique, have added strategy on how to compete, not just speed. She began to realize that from the perspective of her coach, if she wanted to be better, and not just better, be the best, she had to learn, she had to grow. So adopt that growth mindset. I want to do well in this field. What do I know? Don't I know that I need to know to be the best at it? If you begin to think this way, you see yourself instead of focusing on that feeling of failure, focusing instead on building up yourself and your knowledge base. All right, thank you so much. We have come to the end of another lovely episode. I want to encourage so many of you who have been listening so far. I want to encourage you to carry out this exercise now. I want you to catalog a list of your failures so far. It's you that knows how it is. You don't need to send it to us. If you want to share it with us, please do so. But make a list of it, catalog it, and ask yourself at when I failed at this, try to remember how you felt when you failed at that particular stuff, event or activity, and then try to remember what you did after you failed. Is it similar to what we have been learning and discussing so far? If it is not, ask yourself, am I willing to go and practice this now and see perhaps maybe some things I give up on it in the past because I felt I failed? Am I willing to give it a try again? Am I willing to start afresh? I just want to take it as an experience for you as to just go through it the past few years of your life and ask yourself, okay, this is what happened, this is how I dealt with it, this is where maybe I just pushed it and I told myself I was done with it, but I want to give it a shot once more. And then let us know what you think. Feel free to reach out to us using the number +234 813 929 2708. Send an email to thinkreality@lifechangerstouch.org. We look forward to hearing from you and sharing with you all you are going through. Thank you to every one of you for staying tuned. Till we come the same time. Alright, stay tuned. Hello, I want to welcome each and every one of you to the maiden edition of Team's Reality TV show. I am your host, Pastor Udo. Our vision is to create a new brand of teenagers who can get to understand who they are, who they were created to be by God, and helping them navigate this life easily by His help. It is so important